Welcome to Moscow, Russia, a city where imperial history, powerful architecture, art, culture, and modern urban life come together on a breathtaking scale. Ranked number 49 among the world's top dream cities, Moscow offers travelers an experience that feels completely different from almost anywhere else. From the legendary Red Square and Kremlin to spectacular metro stations and riverside parks, every corner tells a story. So let's discover the 5 places that should be on your Moscow travel list. Red Square, the beating heart of Moscow. This enormous historic square brings together some of the city's most recognizable landmarks, including the Kremlin, St. Basil's Cathedral, the State Historical Museum, and GUM. Take your time here. Walk across the square, admire the incredible architecture, and look closely at the colorful domes of St. Basil's Cathedral. For photographers, early morning gives you cleaner views and softer light, while evening brings a completely different atmosphere as the surrounding buildings illuminate. And don't simply look at the square from one direction. Walk around it and experience how dramatically the architecture changes from every angle. Moscow Kremlin, one of the world's most recognizable fortified historic complexes. Behind its famous red walls, you'll discover monumental cathedrals, historic architecture, museums, and centuries of Russian history. One of the highlights is Cathedral Square, where the golden domes create an extraordinary architectural panorama. If you have more time, consider visiting the Armory Chamber, which contains an impressive collection of historic treasures. Plan this visit carefully and check the official museum schedule and ticket availability before arriving, because some Kremlin attractions operate with timed admission and limited visitor capacity. Now, let's move from political history to Moscow's cultural soul, the Bolshoi Theatre. This magnificent neoclassical landmark is famous around the world for opera and ballet. But even if you don't attend a performance, the building itself deserves a visit. Walk through Theatre Square, admire the grand columns and the famous quadriga above the entrance. Then return in the evening when the illuminated facade creates a spectacular photographic scene. For travelers who love architecture, classical culture, and elegant city views, this is one of Moscow's most memorable stops. One of Moscow's biggest surprises is underground. The Moscow Metro isn't simply a transportation system. Many stations feel like underground palaces, decorated with marble columns, chandeliers, mosaics, sculptures, and enormous architectural halls. The best way to experience it is to ride the metro while deliberately visiting some of its most impressive stations. Take your time, look upward, and study the details around you. And remember, the journey itself becomes part of the sightseeing experience. For a completely different side of Moscow, head to Zaryadye Park, located close to the historic center. This modern urban park combines landscaped spaces, architecture, and spectacular views over the Moscow River. The highlight is the floating bridge, where you can look toward the Kremlin and surrounding Moscow skyline from an unusual elevated perspective. Visit around sunset if possible. The changing light, river views, and historic skyline make this one of the best places to slow down, take photographs, and simply enjoy the atmosphere of the city. Before visiting Moscow, there are a few things smart travelers should keep in mind. Don't rely entirely on foreign bank cards. Payment options can vary, so plan your finances carefully. Avoid unofficial taxes and use reputable transportation services. Always respect photography restrictions and local rules, particularly around sensitive or restricted locations. When buying attraction tickets, use official sources whenever possible. The Moscow Kremlin itself warns visitors about fraudulent ticket sellers and recommends purchasing through its official channels. And finally, don't underestimate Moscow's size, changing weather, and the amount of walking involved. So, how much should you budget for Moscow? For a budget traveler, around 5,000 to 7,000 rubles per day can provide a practical experience with simpler accommodation, local food, public transportation, and plenty of free sightseeing. For a more comfortable trip, consider roughly 8 to 13,000 rubles per day. And, if you prefer premium hotels, fine dining, frequent taxis, and paid experiences, your daily budget can easily exceed 15,000 rubles. These are approximate on-the-ground figures and don't include international flights or visa expenses. The good news is that Moscow's metro is inexpensive compared with many major world cities, making it possible to explore a huge amount of the city without spending heavily on transportation.
Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like and to show you around. Bye-bye! See you there!